Okay, today we're going to continue our study of Chapter 8, Ancient Greece, with Lesson 8.3, Greek Mythology. And this lesson is divided into two parts, so this is part 1. The big idea: the ancient Greeks created great myths, henceforth Greek mythology. The Greeks created myths basically to explain the world around them. So in ancient Greece, they didn't have a lot of scientific explanations of what was going on around them. So if a volcano erupted, they didn't know that that's something that naturally occurred. They believed that their gods caused things like volcanic eruptions to happen, maybe to punish people for something they'd done wrong. So instead of scientific explanations, the Greeks used mythology to explain things. And mythology is a body of stories about gods and heroes that try to explain how the world works. So I mentioned the volcanic eruptions. Another could be changing of the seasons, tsunamis, tidal waves, if the crops didn't grow. I mean, you name it, there was something there. It's kind of like our tall tales. So this was just the ancient Greeks' way of explaining why things happened. So basically, since they thought they had to keep the gods happy, they built the gods great temples. And then it's kind of like you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. The Greeks were expected, or they expected the gods to help them in return for building these great temples for the gods. Okay, you're going to come back and log into BrainPop and watch 2 Brain Pops, one on Greek gods and the other on Olympics. Complete those quizzes. And then you'll view the next image on the slide and the video clips on the next 2 slides. So here is the image. Here are the Olympian gods. You've probably heard of several of them. When you watch the Brain Pop, it'll explain what each one of these gods do and what their belief was and why these gods were created for them. So Zeus, of course, is the god, the main Olympian god. You've probably heard of Hades or Apollo or Athena. Anyway, you're going to learn about all those different gods. And then you're going to come back and watch this video and this video. And now let's kind of conclude this with heroes in mythology. When you went back and watched the videos for lesson 8.1 with the Minoans on the Isle of Crete, I talked about Theseus and the Minotaur. And that's something we've also had in our reading book. So these are some of the heroes in Greek mythology. Theseus, of course, and I know you've heard of Hercules. So the one we're going to talk about today is Hercules and the Hydra. But many Greek myths told about the adventures of Greek heroes. So not just about gods, but also great heroes. Some of the heroes were real. In other words, they were based on real people, kind of like our tall tales, Paul Bunyan, while others were not. They were completely mythical, made up. Some of the major heroes that we know of: Theseus, Hercules, and I think it's kind of funny, Jason. So you probably don't know much about Jason, but he sailed across the seas in search of great treasure. Theseus traveled to the Isle of Crete and murdered the Minotaur, which, is the half-human, half-bull monster. And then Hercules was probably the most famous hero out of ancient Greece. He fought many monsters and performed nearly impossible tasks. So this is the end of lesson 8.3 part 1. You're going to come back and view the video clip on the following slide to conclude this lesson. This is Hercules and the Hydra. Just a fun way of ending it. And the next time we're going to talk about Greek literature. The second part.